Standing Order 34-2 is based on Article 120 of the 1992 Constitution, which establishes the publication of a contemporaneous report of proceedings. Although the Hansard is supposed to be an accurate record of proceedings on the floor, some corrections are made in order to ensure the substance of the debate is not lost. Mr. Speaker, one may ask for further clarification on the importance of such a report. The verbatim report is of high importance for the following principal reasons. Firstly, given that all members of Parliament carry a mandate given to them by their constituents to represent them on the floor, these need to have evidence of what, on behalf of their people, happens on the floor of Parliament. Secondly, parliamentary debates also serve as instruments for the interpretation of laws. As outlined in Section 10E of the Interpretation Act 2009, in Ghana, a judge may refer to the entirety of parliamentary debates prior to the passing of the bill in the course of interpretations. Lastly, the Hansard also serves as a historical archive. Some examples of important national events that have been captured therein include the Declaration of Independence, the swearing-in of heads of state, and the visits and addresses of various dignitaries. The Hansard Department of Parliament works assiduously to provide timely, accurate reports of the happenings on the floor. The staff of the Hansard Department sit in the chamber in 10-minute shifts to have an in-person experience of the mood and activities on the floor in order to accurately capture events on the floor in addition to the verbatim report. I would like to highlight some of the challenges that the Hansard Department faces. And I'm compelled to do so given the invaluable role that the Hansard Department plays in making proceedings of the House available and accessible to all Ghanaians. The current working conditions and resources available to the department are challenging, to say the least. I wish to express my profound appreciation to the unseen hands that keep the accurate recording of parliamentary archives. Mr. Speaker, the official report department is currently facing grave challenges that are hindering their day-to-day operations. The challenges range from lack of adequate logistics and equipment to therefore resulting in low motivation of its staff. With reference to the equipment constraints, the department is confronted with outdated hard-end software. According to reports, all the central processing units for the batch of Dell computers procured in 2018 to enhance the department's performance are currently defective. In addition, reporters lack basic equipment such as overhead earpieces and foot pedals. Some officers in the Hansard Department do not have access to television sets for the purposes of monitoring proceedings in the chamber. Furthermore, the internet access and cell phone reception in the basement are erratic, therefore leaving the department detached and isolated from the dynamic reality of proceedings on the floor. In line with the software challenges, it's reported that the department is in deficit of a modern software for page planning for its work. Such software, for example, MS Publisher and Adobe InDesign, allow for planning of the pages of the final report to give a prototype of the final look of each page, in line with international practices. Presently, the department relies on Word 2019, which, as a matter of fact, is meant for word processing. Referring to even more challenges that the department encounters, one that's worthy of mention is the lengthy validation process prior to the tabling of the Hansard. At present, the department readily delivers each Hansard by the end of the following day. However, following this step, prior to publication, a report of the document is subsequently submitted to the Office of the Clerk for validation. Lamentably, receiving feedback takes multiple days due to the busy nature of the schedule of the clerk. In view of this, Mr. Speaker, the validation process must be reviewed to allow for a more rapid tabling of the reports before the House. Mr. Speaker, with regards to the staff of the Hansard Department, if the staff neither feel appreciated nor fulfilled in the execution of their responsibilities as members of staff, and if their working conditions are not improved, the motivation will plummet, and even more so, the House will feel the effects of an inoperative and ineffective official report department to the detriment of the Parliament of Ghana. Recommendations. Finally, Mr. Speaker, with the current government's ambitions to digitize and digitalize, we must not leave out departments and public institutions that contribute to facilitating operations, especially the Hansard Department. We must invest in state-of-the-art equipment to keep up with the counterpart Hansard departments within the Commonwealth and beyond. The Hansard Department hopes to contribute more meaningfully to the growth and development of parliamentary democracy. In the nearest future, the department has laid out a set of goals, including, for example, the digitization of all previous issues of the Hansard, starting from the 1950s, the digitization of all previous issues of verbatim reports on the public hearings of the Public Accounts Committee and the Appointments Committee in the Fourth Republic, and the production and publishing of documentaries on the history and development of the Hansard in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, as the principal budget controller of Parliament, your input and support are highly required in this particular venture. Furthermore, the Parliamentary Service Board and the Clerk to Parliament, who's the principal spending officer of this institution, are hereby petitioned to please support the Hansard Department. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I would like to also raise the public's awareness to the fact that working in the Hansard Department is a career option and definitely worth considering, especially for those who are doing degrees in English. Students and graduates should not only consider teaching, but also consider contributing their skills to the official report department of the Parliament of Ghana as a career option. And finally, to all the gallant men and women of the Hansard Department, past and present, I say Ayiko.